We're about to take a deep dive into the world of AI in automotive retail. It's going to be an illuminating ride. Let's begin with Michael Carrick, who will demystify AI and its foundations in the context of auto dealerships.
Hey, everybody. Thanks again for coming and learning about AI with us. So I'm going to start with what is AI, and we have a video put together that will go through the explanation. So I'm going to let the video play first, and then I'll dive into a few of the nuances about what is this generative AI versus other preconceived notions of AI.
What is AI? That's a really good question. Explaining AI can be a bit tricky, but let me try to break it down using something we're all familiar with, a skilled chef in a kitchen. This might help us understand not just what AI is, but also how it works, even without an internet connection. Imagine you're watching your favorite cooking show. The star chef steps into the kitchen and, without missing a beat, starts whipping up an amazing dish. No cookbook in sight, no Google searches, just pure culinary magic. That chef? That's our AI. Now you might be wondering, how does the chef know what to do? Well, it all starts with training. Just like a chef spends years in culinary school and working in kitchens, AI goes through a rigorous training phase. It's like the AI is learning recipes, understanding flavor combinations, and mastering cooking techniques. But instead of food, it's processing vast amounts of data, learning patterns, and developing its own intuition for solving problems. So, what happens when the cameras start rolling and the chef needs to perform? They tap into all that knowledge they've accumulated. They can recall recipes from memory, combine ingredients based on their understanding of flavors, and even create new dishes on the fly. That's exactly what a well-trained AI does. Once it's trained, it has its own mental cookbook, a complex set of patterns and rules it can apply to new situations. But here's where it gets really interesting. Let's say we drop our chef onto a remote island with no phone, no internet, not even a cookbook. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? But a skilled chef can still work wonders. They can cook excellent meals using whatever ingredients are available, adapt recipes based on what's on hand, and solve culinary problems using their experience and creativity. That's the beauty of AI. Once it's trained, it doesn't need to be constantly connected to the internet to function. It's like it carries its own vast library of knowledge wherever it goes. It can generate responses, adapt its knowledge to new situations, and solve problems all based on what it learned during training. So, there you have it. AI is like a well-trained chef, carrying around a vast mental cookbook of knowledge and the ability to creatively apply that knowledge to new situations. And just like a skilled chef can cook up a storm without constantly referring to recipes or the internet, a well-designed AI can operate effectively even when offline, relying on its extensive training to generate responses and solve problems.
Fantastic. So I really do like the chef definition because it explains that things that you learn throughout your education as a professional is very similar to the way AI does it. It's not about having a database of the internet, it's about understanding the relationship of data, of elements, of ideas, of concepts. That's really what is the function of generative AI. So some of the elements that you need to think about or components are large language models. These are the models that we use as the engine or electricity that kind of run our AI agents. So there are a lot of options out there. OpenAI was one of the first to really hit the market publicly and people were aware of. We have Google's Gemini. It's known for its large context window. We have Anthropic's Claude, which has a really high reasoning factor. DeepSeek, which is an open source model that came out. There are literally new models coming out every 2 weeks to a month, and new iterations of models coming from things like OpenAI and Anthropic, et cetera, that we have to pay attention to. So lots of language models that are available. The next is the multimodal capability. So originally when generative AI came out, it was very focused on language, copy. I write text in, I get text back. But as we can see from the music that Barry put together with AI to the videos that we've put together with AI, it's gone far beyond just copy, has gone into images, has gone into audio, has gone into video, really expanding its functions and capabilities. And with simple plugins, we can now get it to create PowerPoint documents or Word documents, really helping get out of the idea of just copy into a lot more models of content creation. And the last is the customization. This is where data enhancements, and whether that's a RAG, which is a customized data set, or knowledge files for these agents, can really help create expertise in specific areas versus a large language model, which is a very, I want to say, generic answer that you would get versus if you create an expert agent and you add expert knowledge files to it, it gets much more precision and much higher level of quality in its output. So the customization around the prompt that is the agent or the knowledge files can really help pin down a specific expertise or capability. And that's a big part of what differentiates AutoAgentic in this case. So history, I'm going to run through this really quick. AI has been around, and the concepts and the ideas around AI have been around for a while. The Turing test refers to the idea of a machine being able to have a conversation with a human and a human not know it. That was kind of the main bar test of AI. And obviously, we've gotten quite far now with GPT and generative content that people often don't realize they're watching or speaking with or texting with AI. But it's amazing how really since a paper that was written on Transformers, which is really the underlying technology around generative AI, came out in 2017, we've seen this hockey curve effect of generative AI, all these models, and then these massive impacts, whether it's applications or enterprise, or again, these multi-modal capabilities of image and video. So the concepts have been really long in their building and the understanding, but in the last 5 years, we've seen just an astronomical uptake and new technologies coming out again every 2 weeks to a month. So it's quite fast. So just to give you an idea, in 2020, when GPT-3 came out, its parameters, and this is what's trained on, kind of like that chef, how much data, how many ideas, how many concepts, how many relationships was it trained by, was quite small in comparison to the billion plus parameter years of GPT-4. And then in 2024, now we're getting large models and small models, models that can run on your phone, models that can run on your laptop, models that need to be run in the cloud because they're so big. So we're seeing a variety of models coming out that can now be pinned down to specific use cases. When is something good to do a general concept of generative AI versus when is something needed to do really large, complicated things that AI can do, like mass amounts of data or watching 24-hour video footage from thousands of cameras to find elements for efficiency and opportunity. So the models have grown, but now the use cases have changed, which gives us a variety of tools that we can use. The other thing we want to focus on is, again, that expedited nature in which AI is driving just its sheer quality. So here we have some images originally generated. I think the request was Conan O'Brien and Shrek on the left in 2021. And on the right, just a few years later, we have fake news that's coming up constantly that looks as real as someone taking that photo. We have influencers and models that are AI generated now, and it's becoming really hard to tell the difference between reality and AI generated content in just a few years. We went from AI being joked about having 7 fingers in a picture to really having trouble now identifying what is generated versus what is original. A good example of this is a Will Smith video. And again, this is only in a year. On the left, you have a video created by AI of Will Smith trying to eat spaghetti. You can see the spaghetti not even getting into his mouth. 1 year later, and that's the incredible speed of quality where people are making fun of it at one moment, but whenever you see AI, it is currently at its worst. It's only getting better. So a lot of talk this year around what is agentic AI, and agentic AI is really about models and AI and tools working together. You can see that you're still going to put in a natural language input. You're going to say, I want this thing, or can you help answer this thing? But rather than just going to a model and giving you an answer, it's now going to reason, well, what do you need and how can I help you? And what's the right agent that could help you? And what's the right model correlation to that request? Is it a mathematical request or a ciphering request or a data request? Okay, we might want to go with a model that has high reasoning. We might want to deal with an agent that is specifically well-versed in data. And then we're going to submit your request and go through a work process where that query has now been enhanced through AI by saying, hey, I want this piece of data, saying, hey, they want data that could include all of these varieties. So then the data submits through the workflow and executes on that and brings it back. So what you're getting with agentic AI is taking a simple input, making it more robust, going through workflows where decisions are being made on what tools should be used, what agents could be used, what LLMs could be used, including decisions, micro decisions that might be made in terms of strategy, all to give a higher quality, more refined output in the end. So when you think about agentic systems, it's about providing almost autonomy to these agents. So right now there's a lot of what we call human in the loop, which agent, you create a query, agent gives you content. Well, now agents are going to work with other agents, and they're going to work with tools and plugins and functions, all with the idea of the task you gave them, but they're going to make lots of decisions along the way on your behalf, even doing their own QA to make sure that they're meeting your expectations from your original prompt. So there are a lot of benefits from agentic systems. Here we can see that it's going to improve efficiency. It's going to drive automation. It's going to speed up the capabilities of AI, which are already incredibly fast. It's going to be able to work with systems you're already integrated, whether that's data systems, CRM systems, whether it's your finance systems, where it can review things on the fly and correlate that data with your website. It's going to give more autonomy to the agents by creating more capability, but that's going to give time back to the business to look at the data, to make decisions, to drive the business forward, knowing that things that used to take weeks or months can now be done in days. So there are an incredible amount of efficiencies and benefits to businesses when AI starts to work with other functions and capabilities and tools. It's going to be basically a 2.0 of what we're working with today.
Wow, think about how we have gone from Alan Turing's groundbreaking work to today's sophisticated language models. We've come a long way. But knowing what AI is and where it came from is one thing. Knowing what you can actually do with it? Well, that's where the rubber meets the road, and it's the reason we're all here today. To show you the practical, game-changing applications of AI in the automotive industry, I'm excited to hand over to my colleague, Barry Hillier. Barry's about to take us on a journey that's part education, part eye-opener, and I suspect part, why didn't I think I could do that? Barry's going to have a bit of fun with AI tools you may already know, and others you'll be glad you learned about today. Each one has the potential to revolutionize how you do business. So, without further ado, let's dive into the good stuff. Barry, the floor is yours.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is have a little bit of fun. We're going to focus on very different AI platforms. Again, some of these you may have seen, some of them you may not have seen. The goal today is really to do a bit of a hybrid presentation so we can get as much in and allow everybody to get exposed to AI, perhaps in some ways that you haven't seen yet. So we're going to
start off with some fun using AI. And the first AI application I'm going to show you is called Suno. I'm going to start using our marketing strategist. So we're going to start here with Alex. I'm going to post create song lyrics that will inspire our sales team at a morning kickoff meeting, make it fun, light, and inspiring. And I'm going to add, we are a Ford store. So as you can see, it's created a song. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. Okay, so this is Suno, and Suno creates music, all different styles, everything involving Suno. Every style of music, you can create as many songs as you want, generally speaking. It's free. You can do up to 10 songs every day, which is fantastic. I've chosen the Pro plan, $10 a month. And that allows me to get access to version 4. And there's a whole lot of things that I can do with this, including multiple different types of songs. We're going to go in and we are going to paste our song. We're going to enter the style. We're going to say a little bit of rock and roll. Now, I ran this a little bit earlier, but I put a slightly different version to this. So I'm just going to give you a quick example here. While that's generating, I'm going to go through what I did before, which I basically put it and said, give me a bit of hillbilly, give me a little bit of country rock sort of thing. So here we go.
Just a small town Ford store, selling dreams on 4 wheels. We took the morning shift, going anywhere. Customers walking in, their smiles light up the showroom. Just a small town Ford store, selling dreams on four wheels. We took the morning. Just a small town Ford store, selling dreams on four wheels. We took the morning shift, going anywhere.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to check out what is it when it sounds like rock and roll.
Just a small town Ford store, selling dreams on four wheels. We took the morning shift, going anywhere. Just a small town Ford store, selling dreams on four wheels.
All right, but that gives you just a little bit of fun examples of how you can utilize AI within your dealership. You can create jingles. There's all sorts of things that you can do that are just internally focused, externally focused. Even think radio, quite frankly. So let's move on to our next example. Okay, now we're going to move over and continue our creative fun with AI, and we're going to explore Runway. I've really enjoyed Runway. It has a lot of opportunities here. Let me walk you through first the cost. So you can do a little bit of play for free. There's also a standard $144 a year. You get 625 credits monthly. You can also do basically the Pro. That gives you 2,250 credits, but there are limitations where any of the video or images that you generate are going to take up credits. I'm using unlimited. So what that means is there's certain things that will require credits still, but you get access to frames. And that allows you to do a lot of work that doesn't require any credits. You can get as many images or as many video snippets as you want. So I'm going to show you first all the tools that you can get. You can generate video, you can generate images, you can generate audio, you can do lip sync video, you can remove backgrounds. There's all sorts of things that you can do. It's quite an impressive AI solution. To give you a little bit of example in terms of some of the fun that you can have, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to share a little bit of fun at Susan Gabasta's expense. I put together an image. I'm going to show you the image that we used initially, and I had the system literally generate from that image some video. So let's take a look and see what it did just based on this image, which I took off of the internet. So as you can see, in addition to Susan's horror, it literally brings everything to life. I think it looks like her. At the end of the day, though, you can bring to life any image. Now, different prompts, though, had very different results. So I'm going to show you what the first one was. I didn't have as much of an detailed prompt, and this was the initial result. So you can see, depending upon the prompts, it will absolutely change and shift a little bit in terms of what it is that you can get out of each of these videos. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to generate an image. All right, so we're going to say, create an image of a dealer principal looking over his showroom floor. Now, one of the things, this is called frames, so I can create as many images or video, and because of the plan that I'm on that's unlimited, no credits get used for this, and this will generate 4 frames. All right, so now we've got 4 frames. Now, you have several options. When you select on any of these, you can hit vary. That will generate additional variations of this particular frame, or you can sit down, you can say use, and you can generate a video. So let's do that. So now you can create new instructions. You can say create a video where the camera moves in slowly towards the face of the man. And now in this point, you can generate in 5 seconds or 10 seconds. And again, this does not use any of my credits. All right, let's see how the video turned out. So now we've generated an image. From the image, we've generated a video. Now let's see what else we can do. I'm going to download this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the lip sync video section, and we're going to download our video that we just did. We've chosen a voice. So now what we're going to say is, how is everyone enjoying today's webinar? AI, friend, foe, or fatal mistake? Give a thumbs up if you're having fun. This is where we're going to get some of our credits taken off. Okay, let's see what happened.
How is everyone enjoying today's webinar? AI, friend, foe, or fatal mistake? Give a thumbs up if you are having fun.
All right, so you'll notice even though the area here was a little bit off, it corrected itself when it went into the actual lip sync. So let's now jump into a few other fun things. Let's take a moment here and jump down into ChatGPT. This really is what kickstarted for most people their introduction into AI. I am going to start out again with what the plans are. So currently I'm on a $20 a month plan, and you can also get access to a $200 a month plan. Now this gives you a whole lot of access, including access to all the reasoning models and all advanced voice. There's a ton of features that are quite good in this. But let's now take a look and start off with a few things that you may already be aware of and some of you may not. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what's called your own GPT. So you can train your own custom GPT, and I've got a few that are already trained. So we're going to start here with one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into configure. So I'm going to call this Agentic. So one of the things that we're going to put into this is from an instruction standpoint, I'm going to paste all the information on Agentic. Now, here's where you're going to see GPT instructions cannot be longer than 8,000 characters. This is a critical difference between our agents with Agentic. We actually have all of our agents instructed between 60,000 to 100,000 words, so considerably longer. So I'm going to jump now, and rather than go and configure this, I'm going to go into one of the ones that we already have. So I'm going to take a look, and we're going to go and just use the general GPT. So what are some of the things that you can do? Well, you can create images, you can analyze data, you can help write, you can analyze images. Some of the interesting things though, and this is where you're going to find how chat has a bit of an understanding of who you are. So I'm going to ask it to create an image of what chat thinks I am based on all of my previous inputs and threads. Let's see what happens. So now it's saying that it's going to create it based on a blend of entrepreneurial spirit, tech-savvy influence, and deep connection to Indigenous business collaborations and the CPG community, which is some of the other businesses that I'm involved in. So now it's going to generate this. This is how chat sees me. Now, there are very interesting things that you can do with chat. And one of the things that you can do is you can literally ask it questions. So you can use chat and you can use it to ask questions. So I'm going to ask it, where do you think the future of automotive dealerships is heading with AI? So as you can see, there's a lot of information that's come out in terms of how it's going to be creating everything from chatbots right through to hyper-personalized customer journeys, intelligent inventory and pricing management, service and repair automation, etc. So I'm going to ask, can you create a training program to help onboard our salespeople for our Toyota dealership? And so you can see how now this is now starting to give some pretty interesting and some good information. Absolutely. You have all sorts of information in terms of introduction to Toyota and dealership operations, product knowledge, customer engagement and sales process, digital and AI-powered sales tools, financing and leasing basics, service and after-sales support, etc. So some fair information that anybody can now start to get organized here. So now I'm going to ask it to write product knowledge training for our staff. So now what you're going to start to see here is it's going to start to get into overview of the lineups, trim levels, Toyota safety sense, breakdown of the vehicle lineup, etc. So it's now going through and it's creating all of these. So I'm going to say, show a detailed product knowledge module for Toyota Corolla. Okay, so now let's take a look here. And so now it gets into Toyota Corolla. So overview of the Toyota Corolla, one of the world's best-selling vehicles, available in sedan and hatchback. Starts to get into engine options, transmission. Let's just open this up here a little bit. Starts to get into fuel economy, different trim levels, technology and infotainment, safety and driver assistance, competitive comparison, etc. And you can get into a bunch of other items in terms of where it's suggesting, again, as part of the training program, financing, leasing basics, service and after-sales support, etc. So there's a fair amount of power, obviously, behind ChatGPT, and we would be absolutely remiss to indicate otherwise. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to check out next is Perplexity. Perplexity is an advanced search engine. Now, one of the things that has been introduced recently is Perplexity Deep Research. So we're going to start again with costs. Anybody can use this for free. You get unlimited free searches, 3 pro searches, etc. And then professional $20 monthly. So that increases obviously a bunch of what you're able to get access to. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to utilize the deep research function. This really is, when you take a look, you have auto searches, you have pro search, you have deep research, etc. So you have a bunch of different models, including, as you can see, it's tapping into OpenAI, tapping into DeepSeek, and you're going to learn we operate in a similar manner within Agentic in terms of we go into using multiple LLMs, and we actually incorporate Perplexity directly in our system as well. Okay, so what I'm asking is, can you do a deep dive into the future of the automotive industry relating to auto dealerships given the introduction of AI? So you'll notice one of the things that's different right now is all of the different elements that it is currently researching. There are various different searches that it's also performing. Now it is searching about the future in terms of how automotive dealerships are restructuring themselves given AI. And you can see the deep research side's really starting to come through here, generally going far deeper than what you would get on, say, a chat search or even a Google search for that matter. Okay, so now that it has all of these things, it's now reasoning and it's creating a report. So now it has gone through, it's providing where it has gotten a lot of information, including an additional 30 sources. So what we're seeing here is the automotive industry stands at the precipice of a transformative era. By 2025, AI-driven technologies will redefine customer interaction, streamline inventory management, revolutionize service departments, etc. But then it gets into the digital transformation. Virtual showrooms, immersive experiences. It's indicating right now that critical pain point, 68% of car buyers begin their journey online, but only 20% trust dealer websites to provide accurate information. Dealerships adopting AI platforms toward a 40% reduction in showroom foot traffic, but a 35% increase in qualified leads. So AI is filtering out casual browsers and prioritizing serious buyers. So then you get into seamless online to offline integration in terms of eroding the boundaries between digital and physical retail spaces. You're getting into predictive maintenance and service information as it relates to real-time vehicle diagnostics. And taking a look here where it's saying that AI predictive maintenance systems are going to drive patterns that are going to have 92% accuracy. So that's up from 78% in 2023. You're looking at service department revenue optimization, as well as getting into dynamic pricing and market adaptation. So machine learning modules now process over 200 variables, hyper-personalized marketing campaigns, autonomous vehicles and dealership adaptation. So you're looking at far, far more deeper results than when asking ChatGPT. Human AI collaboration in dealer workflow. So AI is a force multiplier for staff. This is something we absolutely believe in when it comes down to Agentic. So a study of 150 dealerships revealed that salespeople using AI assistants spend 70% less time on administrative work and conducted 40% more customer meetings. So again, we truly do believe that the human quotient with AI is a superior formula. So upskilling the workforce. Dealerships now prioritize hiring for emotional intelligence and problem solving over routine task proficiency. So this is great. Then you get into ethical considerations, which it should be in terms of what's happening, etc. So all in all, you can see a very, very powerful tool when it comes down to using Perplexity as a search and, more importantly, a deep research engine.
And there you have it, folks. Just a glimpse into the incredible potential of AI in our industry. You know, even after all this time working with these technologies, I still find myself amazed by what AI can do. Now, I can see the wheels turning in many of your minds, and I'm sure you have questions. Don't worry, we've set aside time after Bill's presentation for a question and answer session. Plus, for those of you who want to dive even deeper, we'll be happy to schedule some one-on-one time to discuss further. But let's keep this AI train rolling. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Bill Playford. Bill's about to take us on a journey through Agentic AI, sharing some practical, real-world examples of how AI can be put to work inside your dealership. These aren't just theoretical use cases. We're talking about tangible applications that can transform your day-to-day operations. Bill's going to show you how AI can be your secret weapon in everything from sales to operations. So, without further ado, let's welcome Bill to the stage and see how Agentic AI is changing the game for dealerships just like yours. Bill, take it away.
Thanks, Nikki. I really appreciate everybody joining. I just want to thank everybody for hanging around, and I think it's really critical that we share a background just so we can get past some of the what it is, what it isn't type of stuff that we have to deal with every day with AI. And I thought before we get into some of the presentation, it'd be really good just to answer some of those FAQs we get, or frequently asked questions, that we get a lot, just so you guys can understand some additional context around Agentic and what it is and all the things it can do for you. So let's go ahead and roll to the next slide and let Nikki take it back over again.
Welcome to the future of AI-assisted business growth. Agentic AI isn't just another AI tool. We're a revolutionary platform that's redefining what's possible in the realm of artificial intelligence. Imagine an AI that doesn't just chat, but truly thinks. We're not a dressed-up chatbot or a repackaged version of a well-known AI. We're the quantum leap your business has been waiting for. At our core, we're LLM agnostic. This means we harness the power of multiple large language models, including OpenAI, Claude, and others, each chosen for their unique strengths. As the AI landscape evolves and new, more powerful LLMs emerge, we swiftly adapt. This agility ensures you're always leveraging the most advanced AI capabilities available. Our agents aren't just smart, they're deeply knowledgeable. While most AI systems train on 500 to 1,500 words per agent, ours delve into a staggering 60,000 to 100,000 words. This depth of automotive and specialty knowledge training translates to AI assistants that truly understand your business needs and can offer insights that go beyond surface-level analysis. We've seamlessly integrated all the tools our specialized agents need to excel. This includes Perplexity Search for up-to-the-minute information, Canvas for visual brainstorming, Mermaid for creating diagrams and flowcharts, and much more. These plugins aren't just add-ons. They're integral parts of our system, allowing our AI to provide comprehensive, multifaceted solutions to your business challenges. Our system doesn't just answer questions, it asks them too. By engaging in a true dialogue, we uncover aspects of your query that you might not have considered. This collaborative approach ensures that our solutions are tailored precisely to your needs, often addressing challenges you didn't even know you had. We believe in propelling your business forward, which is why we conclude every interaction with suggested next steps. This forward-thinking approach ensures that your engagement with Agentic AI is always driving progress and growth. Security isn't an afterthought, it's the foundation of everything we do. Here's an overview of our robust security measures. 1. Encryption. Everywhere. Your data remains unreadable to prying eyes. 2. Enterprise-grade APIs. We're backed by industry giants like OpenAI and Google. 3. Total data sovereignty. You own and control every byte of your data. 4. Your control, your peace of mind. That means full ownership, your data, your rules, instant deletion. Remove your data with a single click. We don't just talk about security, we prove it. We are SOC 2 Type 1 certified. Our security has been independently verified. We are GDPR compliant. We meet global data protection standards. We are HIPAA aligned. We offer healthcare grade privacy. And we're not stopping there. We're aggressively pursuing SOC 2 Type 2 certification, a rigorous 6-month minimum audit of our security practices. Agentic AI. We're not just different, we're the future of AI-assisted business growth. Experience the power of truly intelligent, secure, and collaborative AI today. Visit autoagentic.ai and join the dealerships who are already reshaping automotive retail. This video was co-created using AI in collaboration with our Agentic human co-founders.
So thank you again, Nikki. So I wanted to share that with you guys really quick, just so that you understand the background and what we're going to highlight here. And I'm glad there are a lot of dealers here on this. I want to go through some scenarios that we had developed where we can highlight the true capabilities of Agentic and actually show how we can even thread these agents together to work together. So with that, we'll jump into the first example here. Since I've started this journey with AI, I've realized that a lot of people aren't quite sure where to start with AI, or they feel like that they have AI tools available to them today that can replace or potentially be used in part of using an agentic AI system. And I thought it'd be fun to take an example today of one, starting how people can use AI or asking the question, how do I incorporate AI into my dealership, but also do it in a way that addresses a situation where people feel like they already have some automations or already have some sort of generative AI already built in the system. So I went ahead and asked Susan, who is our sales manager, to get us started here. And just to again show everybody a really simple prompt here. Hello, Susan. I've been hearing so much about adding AI to our dealership, but I'm not sure where to start. How can AI coach me into getting the most out of our existing technology? And just like we talked about in the past with Agentic AI, one of the things that I love about Agentic is that it asks me questions. It wants more context. And so I gave it a real scenario that we run into every day. And I actually, this isn't any shot at any CRM company, but I wanted to use this because it comes up all the time in my day-to-day. We use DriveCentric, which has a built-in AI component. We find that the sales team, constantly tripping over the artificial agent. The AI agent will respond to the customer, then a salesperson will respond back to the customer, then a manager will respond back to the customer within the course of a couple hours. Oftentimes, there's no mention of the previous responses. How can we prevent this from happening? So this is one of those things I know probably some of you guys are giggling to yourselves quietly, but this is something, again, that happens all the time. And a lot of it has to start with there not being a proper explanation about how to integrate the system into the workflow, or how to integrate how the AI actually works with the sales team. And so right off the get-go, Susan tells us, here are the things that we need to watch out for. Let's establish some clear communication protocols. Let's utilize CRM features more effectively, improve AI integration. So it starts giving us a list of all the things that we should be planning for. And with any one of these things, you can always ask the question and always drill down, and Agentic will generate a more descriptive answer. But right now it's just starting with the bullet points. And so as I do with these things, I want to drill in. I want to see what to do next. So I asked it, hey, let's start with 4, but can you use your plugins to watch this video, then incorporate that into the training? So this is one of those circumstances where I just went into YouTube and I actually found a training video in this particular tool. And so I thought it would be worthwhile to show the system a video, have it learn from the video, and then go to work from there. So Susan came up with some answers here. Thank you for providing that video link. I've analyzed the content and incorporated its insights into our training recommendations. The video discusses the importance of video marketing for car dealerships. Let's use this information to enhance our training on AI, and CRM usage. So here it comes up with 8 different things, 9, 10 different things that we can incorporate into the training to get a start. So now, as somebody who hasn't used a system like this or isn't quite sure how to take the next steps, it's starting to build that game plan for me. So I asked it to work with Aaron, who's our HR manager. With any of our tools, you can actually have 2 expert agents working simultaneously. So I'm taking our sales manager agent and I'm having it work with our HR agent to create some training sessions. So I asked, let's work with Aaron to create these 3 15-minute training sessions based on what we've learned. At the end of each session, let's create 5 multiple choice quizzes with the answers at the end to measure how the team is learning material. So this is where we go from, in my mind, good to great. Certainly, I'd be happy to create 3 15-minute mini training sessions based on what we've learned, along with quiz questions for each session. Let's design these sessions to address the key issues you're facing with AI integration in your Drive-centric CRM. So here's the first session, introduction, 2 minutes, establishing clear communication protocols, 5 minutes. So it breaks these out into sections. And again, I encourage you, as you use this system, as you're testing the system, just click 3. That's all. But nevertheless, you can see the quiz. So here's the questions of the quiz. Very, very simple multiple choice. Here are your answers. Here's the next session. So it breaks all this stuff down for sales managers. So one of the things I think we've all experienced over time is that we don't always get the information, or maybe we don't get the extent of the information we need. And if we're really busy, sometimes we're not able to properly assimilate that information. So we can actually use AI to help us teach these things, help us learn these things. But in this situation, we can actually have AI help us use AI. So I thought this was a fun example to show you guys, to show a real world circumstance that dealerships are dealing with all the time. And I want to lead into some other ones. Since I've started this journey with AI, so next slide. So that was kind of a cheeky one, as they would say. But I wanted to highlight some ones that I think were a little more relevant. And this actually, the next two actually came from our last webinar, and I want to show a couple examples. So this one is in regards to orphan customers, which I know a lot of dealerships are dealing with right now. Now, what you see on the screen here might be a little bit intimidating, and it's actually very simple. And I'll explain how this all works. So as you can see, we're working with Susan. She's our expert sales manager. What I asked Susan was, good morning. I'm looking to create a series of email and text templates, as well as phone scripts for our customers whose salesperson has moved on. For additional context, our dealership has recently come under new ownership, and with manufacturer's requirements, a new name, many of our salespeople have left since then, and we want to make sure our customers know we're still here for them. Our new ownership, ABC Motors, really, really creative name, is very aggressive, meaning we have a lot more to offer. I've attached the text of our presentation deck. I've also attached a list of zip codes around the area of our dealership. Can you work with Alex and please generate 5 different personas from those zip codes so we can generate 5 different email templates, 5 different text templates, and 5 different phone scripts to help appeal to those customers who no longer have a salesperson at our dealership to serve them. So, but we can actually tag in another agent. This is something that I've done in previous examples to show how we can use another expert in this. And so Alex is our growth marketing manager, and we can actually include him to help build these campaigns. So what you can see here is I've also attached, by clicking this little button here, we can attach different things. I went ahead and found the zip codes around a particular dealership, and I actually have a client that built out a very elaborate deck about all the different things they do as a dealer group. And I want to incorporate these things in there to give it some additional context of ways to help build out these templates. So this took way more time to explain than it took Susan to come up with this, but within a minute, we've got a bunch of different stuff here. So first off, certainly be happy to work with you and create persona-based email templates, text templates, and phone scripts for your customers. First, let's create 5 different personas based on the zip codes you provided and information about your dealership's new ownership and offerings. And it says, at Alex, could you please help me analyze the zip codes provided and generate some demographic information for these areas? This will help us create more accurate personas. And so here we got our personas, and I'll let you read these at your own speed if you want to pause it. But what it does is it actually gives us some different demographics, different psychographics, different things that we can actually attach some information to, attach different value to for these people, and write it in a way that's a little more, let's say, relevant to their own personal needs. And if you've never worked with persona creation, this is something that using a system like this is fantastic for. With that in mind, we start getting some information here. I actually ask a very simple question. Next, let's make an email template, text template, and phone script suitable for each. Each salesperson has agreed to buy a Starbucks gift card for those who want to visit. So I did this just as a way to create an additional incentive. Clearly, every dealership's going to be a little bit different in terms of how they want to do that. But in terms of just having that customer, come on by, this is your tool. You can use it the way you want to. This is just an example of how I would put this in motion. So this is the first email template based on the first persona. This is Sarah Johnson, young professional, Here's the email template. Exciting changes at the new dealership name. You'd have to insert that. This actually comes across as pretty much like a merge field. So you could set the system up in the future. Actually would learn how to build the right merge field for your CRM, so that way it automatically insert it. So that's just as a little side note there. Dear Sarah, I hope this email finds you well. I'm reaching out because the dealership name has undergone some exciting changes, and I wanted to personally update you. We're now part of ABC Motors family, bringing a fresh, progressive approach to serving our customers. As a young professional who values efficiency, I think you'll appreciate our new streamlined processes and expanded services. I'd love to show you around and discuss how new offerings can benefit you, especially if you're in the market for a fuel-efficient compact SUV. As a token of our appreciation, I'd like to offer you a Starbucks gift card. When you visit us, can we set up a time for you to stop by? I'm available at this date on this time. Let me know what works best for you. So, clearly this is just an example. This is something where with anything with this, I'd always kind of give it a quick read through. You might want to tweak some things about compact SUV. There's certain things you might be able to gather in your research about this particular customer before you reach out to them. But nevertheless, it's something where now you have a nice structure to build upon. It's already building in best practices in terms of offering up specific appointments. And now we get the text template as well, and we get a phone script around this particular customer. So simply put, all we have to do is tell, hey, let's continue. And now we're on to the family-oriented dad, more family-oriented parents. We get one for a recent graduate. So again, something through your research or something you're understanding about this particular customer before you reach out, you can incorporate a template like this. Retired veteran, same thing. If you do the research ahead of time and you understand a little bit more about the particular customer, you can incorporate those elements in there as well. So we go through all 5 different personas, and then, at the very end, I wanted to create something just more generalized based on the exercise. So what I asked it to do is like, hey, these are all great. Now can you create an email template, text template, and phone script blending all 5 personas? So, hey, certainly, I'll create a general template. So subject, exciting changes at dealership name. We're here for you. Dear customer name, I hope this email finds you well. I'm reaching out because dealership name has recently undergone some exciting changes, and I wanted to personally update you. We're now part of the ABC Motors family, bringing a fresh, progressive approach to serving our diverse community of customers. Whether you're a young professional, a growing family, a recent graduate, a respected veteran, or a local business owner, we have expanded our services and inventory to meet your unique needs. Here's what's new. A wide range of vehicles from fuel-efficient compacts to spacious family SUVs and luxury models, cutting-edge technologies, streamlined, efficient buying experiences, enhanced comfort, so on and so forth. So these last couple bullet points actually were pulled from that deck that I included. So it's actually putting that information in there. It's not just making it up. It's taking those value propositions and adding them back in there. So I'd like to show you around and discuss how our new offerings can benefit you. Offers up those dates and times that we talked about. Here's a text template we can use. Here's a phone script that we can use. And so as opposed to just starting from scratch or doing something willy-nilly, so to speak, this is a situation where we can take all these details and take all this information we have at our fingertips and incorporate this into a very, very personalized response that we can either use in a very targeted way if we've gathered some details about a particular customer, or we can use it in a more generalized way. We know some of the value things that they're going to be looking for based on their demographics. So I hope this is a great way to demonstrate how we can build a campaign around orphan customers. Now, what you see on the screen. So I want to say I apologize for reading some of this stuff. It's really tiny on the screen. I know it's a little bit tedious, so I appreciate your patience on that. But I wanted to actually go through some of this stuff so you guys aren't getting eye strain. This last one I want to go over actually again came from the last session. There's a person on the call who might recognize the conversation afterwards. But I think this is a great one, and a lot of dealerships will truly benefit from this exercise and this example. So for the next example, I thought it'd be good to do something outside the box, not in terms of being something that's never been done before, but outside the box in terms of stretching AI to its limits. I thought it'd be really fun to take something that dealerships go through all the time in terms of hiring, like we touched on in previous sessions we've done, but really go about doing it in a way that's going to better prepare the salesperson for success. So as I'm sharing my desktop, you can see that we have Erin. She's our HR expert, and I like to use Erin to help creating create different training scenarios. She has all that knowledge that's really built to not only make sure things are structured very, very well, but do it in a way to make sure that, one, it's compliant, and two, is that it meets all the best practices in terms of how to set up the criteria for success. So with that in mind, you can see here there's a lot of attachments, and I'll talk about that here in a second. As Aaron, my dealership is considering a new onboarding process for freshly hired salespeople. Our historic process is varied from manager to manager, with some taking a hands-on approach, some using job shadowing, while others just handed the salesperson a pile of brochures and directed them from their desk. We are struggling with getting consistent use out of our CRM, VIN solutions, as well as developing product knowledge. We would like to create a 30-day plan that is mostly self-directed by the new hire. We probably bring on 2 to 3 new hires every 90 days. We would like to cut back on that significantly. What we envision is a 1-week intensive training course that would allow us to understand if we have a good fit. We'd like to create an evaluation at the end of that 5 days. If the new hire passes, we would then slowly integrate them into the showroom activities and dedicate more managerial time. I've attached the metrics we use to track the performance of our phone calls, internet team, and showroom team. I found this video from VIN Solutions. It might be a good place to start. So I actually kind of almost overloaded it in the very beginning. Normally I would do a lot more back and forth, but just for the sake of example, I wanted to show you all the things that you can incorporate in that initial first response. I've attached those different bits of criteria so they can take a look and see what we want to accomplish. It's going to ask me a question right off the get-go. This is the normal kind of back and forth we would see when using one of the agents. But again, just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to kind of cut her off a little bit and kind of direct things just for the sake of example. So, and I say, hey, great question. Many fail to understand the value of a consistent process and use of the CRM. Let's see an example before we go over any more questions. So I then essentially told it to go through and review all the information that's available and to start building out an example process so that way we can make some future iterations based on additional information if we need to. So here is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. It breaks all these things down and lets us know, hey, these are all the things that we should be covering on those days. Very, very simple. And with anything, again, we can always ask it to drill down and provide more specifics. It's just going to give us a broad overview right now. So it's going to ask me another question. So based on metrics you've shared from your phone, internet, and showroom teams, which specific areas do you feel need the most improvement for new hires? So I tell it, new hires typically fail for 1 or 2 reasons. Poor CRM usage justifies their work, often amplified by bad behaviors learned from other salespeople or a former job, or poor consistent written communications with the customers. Can you dive deeper into day 2? So I asked it to take one of those different days and to make it more specific. So now it's given me, here's an hour by hour plan essentially to incorporate these different key things that we need to add in there. So we can see their introduction dealership sales process, role of the CRM, written communication standards, CRM workflow mapping exercises, creating, updating customer profiles. And it's taking that link I used to VIN Solutions and actually building in those specifics using that link. Here's kind of a synopsis at the end of day 2, and I tell it what I'll do next just simply by saying 1. So it's going to take the first thing that I offered on that day, and it's going to actually break that down and give me that detail that I want. So here's the CRM workflow mapping exercise, creating, updating customer profiles, mastering VIN Solutions. And so it's going to go step by step by step to make that more specific. Because I have Aaron starting out with this, I'm going to actually ask Susan, the salesman, if she sees anything that needs to be added to this. So it's going to take her expertise now and layer that upon Aaron's expertise and make sure that there's nothing that we're skipping. And Susan chimes in, hey, there's not anything about mobile CRM usage, integration, inventory management, data analytics, compliance, customer experience focus, gamification and competition, cross-departmental communications, common pitfalls and troubleshooting. She found a lot of things that are very, very specific to that showroom dynamic that Aaron may not have picked up on. All these agents are actually experts in their field, and they've all been trained on how to do things for retail automotive. But that's the advantage of having specific expert agents, is a lot of times they may come up with things that other agents may not. And that's the value of creating a team of these experts, just like you'd have inside your office or inside your boardroom. You have people who understand both the domain and the various specifics to help make it better with a more diverse approach in terms of how to accomplish things. So I said, hey, these are great points. Let's reincorporate that into the plan. And here we go. So now we not only have Aaron's process, we have Nation, but now we have Susan's input as well to make this in terms of the things we get. So, here we can see all the different exercises, all the different things it's creating, all the different time frames it should take, all the things that we should be incorporating into those things. And having seen all this and probably read some of your minds, I put, hey, the managers are really busy here. Can you play the part of the customer in the role-playing exercises? So one of the things it said for option 12 was role-playing. And so what I asked it to do essentially is to be the role player and to create the different scenarios. So this goes through that setup and how that would be done. And so when you would want to implement this, you could again go scenario 3. Can you break this down for me? It'll go line by line by line in terms of what you have to do. So this is just going to give you the broad strokes. And again, I keep trying to keep this brief for the sake of example, but rest assured this is something where if you want to turn the system loose and have it start training people on your behalf, you can give it the instructions and it's going to do that for you. So this is excellent. Let's go back to the 5-day plan. Can you give me an example of what the day 5 written test on CRM functionality and dealership processes would be like? I would like a new hire to complete this within an hour. So I wanted to, again, have it create this test for me. Here's a 1 hour, 100-point test that it's going to design for us using, multiple choice and, other different things, short answer and so on and so forth. So these are the example questions. This is great. Can you create this example test for us and give us the answers? So now it's going to take all the things we've incorporated it, including the things that we gave it from Bin Solutions, and it's actually going to go, here's all the questions, here's all your multiple choice, and we keep scrolling down and we'll see all those questions, and now we can see all the answers. So now we have a turnkey solution that we've developed in just a matter of minutes, honestly, where we can actually cover up all of our blind spots for the most part, create a basic structure for this, and then if we want to take this example as a management team and go through this, then we can go through and make those tweaks that are maybe relevant to our dealership in particular. But now we've taken something that might take weeks or months to create, and we did it in a matter of an afternoon, essentially. And so this is one of those examples of where we start with an idea and we can take it all the way to the nth degree in terms of that specificity. But the one thing I will say is that most dealerships can take advantage of this, and one of the things that I feel like we really emphasize here with Agentic is that we don't want to replace people, we just want to make them better. So this is one of those great examples where we can take the system, give it to our best people, and extend their abilities to make them the best version of themselves. So I got a little giggly there. I apologize. I giggle because as somebody who's been doing this professionally, helping dealerships navigate that type of activity for the better part of the last 15 years, that's something that probably would have took me a month, and I got all that done between dinner and the start of a hockey game. So it was a really quick exercise, and I'm really excited even to drill into that myself further, just because I think it's so valuable. So outside of just the retail side of things and working activities inside the showroom, there's so much more that we have in terms of expert agents, and we actually have a total of 10 agents. We don't have enough time to, maybe you guys don't have enough patience to to see all 10, but I wanted to make sure that we highlight a couple of different agents here. And legal is one of those things. If you ever find yourself in a situation dealing with attorneys, that could be extremely expensive, and having an expert agent who is awesome at navigating legal contracts and intellectual property and a whole variety of other laws is almost essential. So we'll roll into the next example. Many businesses, not just car dealerships, need to deal with legal help from time to time. And this is one of those situations where by having a tool such as Agentic with Jesse, our legal assistant, it allows dealerships to save a tremendous amount of money in preparation for their legal needs. Took a link from one of our friendly dealerships and actually asked it to go ahead and see if it complies with all the laws in Ontario, Canada for the new regulations in 2025 and provide analysis and regulations. And so in a couple of minutes, it does a little bit of research and looks to see all the different new legal changes that have happened for 2025. So it breaks it down by jurisdiction, the CAMVAP disclosure, warranty documentation, contact information, consumer protection enhancements, data protection and privacy, dealer authorization letters, advertising standards, dispute resolution, general updates, here's an implementation timeline. And as you can see in all the different bullet points there, you can go back through and rewatch these, but you can see each one of those things has the individual different things that need to be changed or need to be addressed with the new legislation, and gives us some risk mitigation recommendations, and it gives us options for further review. I want to go ahead and do the detailed compliance audit, but I want to make it really simple for everybody to see, so I actually asked it to make it a checklist. And this is one of those things where you can see it very, very clearly that there's a lot of blind spots that we need to address here. So you can see that you go, line by line, here's the requirement. Are we compliant? No. And for CAMVAP, we're not compliant. Warranty documentation, contract information compliance, consumer protection measures, data protection, and privacy. And we can see it very clearly that there are a few things that this dealership needs to do in order to be compliant for 2025. And so then it actually breaks it down in terms of the high priority, medium priority, and low priority items. So that way we can address it in a way that is time effective. And I really appreciate the fact that it gives us the timelines here, so next 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, something where we can spread this out a little bit and make it so that it's not something we have to do right overnight. So next thing I'll ask it to do is just give us an implementation plan. And so we can see that based on the timelines it gave us above, it's going to give us a week by week checklist of all the things that we need to accomplish. And so it allows us to delegate that to our staff to take it on as a leadership team, or if we need to, it allows us to contact an attorney to help us get these things ironed out. But it makes it so easy for us to divide those things up so that way it's very time and cost effective for the dealership. And this gives us a 9-month plan and multiple phases, as you can see. So there's lots of different things that it gives us including KPIs, lets us know what type of personnel it'll require so we can build that team if we need to. And essentially it takes almost all the guesswork out of this that you could possibly have. So I'm going to actually give it a little bit of a curveball question. Can you perform a detailed gap analysis comparing the current Zinc and Auto Group terms against our compliance checklist? And this is a way for the system to review what it's already accomplished and to make sure that it teases out any other things that need to be addressed. And so now it gives us a detailed gap analysis report, and much in the same way it did above, it made it very easy visually to keep track of, shows its current statuses, the gaps, the priority levels that need to be addressed. And as you can see, a lot of these are high priority. And just keep scrolling down, you see, DAL procedures, advertising standards, gives us summary of our findings. There's 24 total requirements. We're 4% compliant, 21% partial compliant, and 75% non-compliant based on the 2025 regulations. And again, this is an awesome tool for us to allocate our resources and understand what we need to address now versus something we can hold off and address. So finally, I'm just going to ask it to take everything it's learned and write new terms and conditions based on the recommendations. And it starts to build all these out in a way with definitions, addressing all of those things that we found. So this is one of those circumstances where after you've gone through this exercise, we take a couple minutes for the system to find all these different opportunities and gaps and ways for us to address our situation. We can now take this document, print it off, give it to our legal team to review, and get these implemented right away.
I just wanted to say I've actually had I spent some time with Barry going through Agentic, and it is something to see and to behold. And I would strongly suggest to everybody that's on the call that they reach out to the guys and do some one-on-ones and have some questions, because when you see this live and in action with an actual situation that's going on at your store, it is a complete game changer. I was floored the first time I saw it, and I've seen it multiple times now, and I've actually had the privilege of working on it myself. And what it comes up with based on what you're feeding it and what you're asking it to do. As Bill said it earlier, he's been helping dealers with operations for the last 15 years. There are answers that have come with the questions we've inputted that would take 6 months to come up with, the amount of information it provides you. Now, all of it might not apply to you, but it just short ends everything that you're trying to accomplish. And again, it's not about getting rid of people in your organization. It's enhancing what they do, so you're getting to market quicker for whatever the situation is. So I think if there's anything I can offer just to the people that are seeing this for the first time, reach out to the guys and do a one-on-one for half an hour with them. It is well worth it. It is truly a game changer.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining, and please feel free to reach out and take advantage of the opportunity to use this for yourself for a couple of weeks. I think you'll really, really be impressed.